Hello, my name is Miriam Luger Ortiz, and today I'm going to be talking about women's rights in Afghanistan. So, before I get started, just as a disclaimer, English is not my first language, so if you find hard to understand what I'm trying to say, because I know my pronunciation is not the best, I put the text on the slide so you can follow what I'm trying to present. So here are two quotes from the book that are very close to the topics I'm going to be talking today on the presentation. So one of the reading of fundamentalism and the control of women, and another as religion as oppressive. So I based my ideology and my statements on these two readings. So why did I choose the Afghanistan country? Well, we know that currently Afghanistan is going through a really hard situation talking about women's rights. Um, and that's because in 2021 the Taliban movement came back into power, and we know that this movement has a lot of radical ideologies that go against women's rights. And when they came back, it made women's rights pretty bad. So that's how Afghanistan became the second highest gender gap in the world, with 76% difference between women and men in health, education, financial inclusion, and decision making. This is according to an ONU report. So I'll be talking about the right of education in Afghanistan, the right of vote, um, the right of self-decision, specifically marriage, and the right of work, specifically about the job opportunities that they are being given. So let's get started with the first right I'm going to be talking about in this presentation, which is education. So the Taliban have been doing a lot of restrictions since 2021 when they came back to power, and one of them was banning education for all women and girls. They started with banning education from universities, but then they went furthermore, and then now they are not allowed to study after sixth grade. And this makes Afghanistan the only country in the world that bans access to education based on gender. This is according to an ONU report. So as a result of these restrictions, a lot of clandestine schools has been opened. These ones are led by former professors, especially women former professors. And this is something of highly risk because if they get caught, they can go to jail, not only the professors, but the students too. Now, talking about the right of vote. So women in Afghanistan before the Taliban's movement came, they were able to vote. They gained this right in 1919. Surprisingly, it was before the United States. Um, but after the Taliban got the power, women were banned for any political decision, including vote. This is really concerning because women's votes are really important. They have the right to decide who their government will be because they will be ruled under that government. And when this right is taken away, it keeps inequality and it makes harder for the country to move forward in a lot of senses in social injustice, in human rights, in development, in gender equality. So banning women from vote, it's something that goes against the country instead of helping the country to improve. So now let's talk about the right of decision making, and I'm gonna be talking about specifically about marriage. So in Afghanistan, marriage is seen as a way to honor your family. Sadly, it's really common to see child marriages, and also it's really common to see families selling their girls to other families to get married with them. Um, the main reason they sell the kids with other families, it's because they need the dowries to support the family. So they see it as an opportunity to get rid of a responsibility, someone they have to feed, and they see the things they can gain, like the income, and they do this a lot to benefit themselves. So according to an ONU agency, 28% of Afghan women in the 15 to 45 age bracket were married before they turn 16 years old, which is the legal age for women in Afghanistan to get married. So this is really, really concerning because 30% of the population it's been forced to get married. 30% of the women population. This is not good because these girls will grow up with responsibilities that they don't have to take because they are kids. They will also go through a lot of violence, and they will also grow up with a lot of traumas because of the separation of their original family. I'm gonna read this statistics from the ONU Women Report that says 9 out of 10 women experience at least one form of intimate partner violence in their lifetime. So since they are little, they are exposed to violence from adults, especially men adults, and they only not suffer for physical violence, but also psychological violence and verbal abuse violence. And this is really concerning because currently this is socially accepted, and they cannot see like the main issue of girls being forced to get married. So with this, I wanna like I put this verse from the Quran, and when you read it, you can tell that the religion do not support this kind of marriages. And we see that a lot of these families they justify their decision of making their kids get married like really early because they say it's the religion and it says how it's supposed to be. But as we saw in class, and I remember a discussion post we talk about it, that they usually take religion as an excuse to make their sexism decisions being justified. And our last right I'm gonna talk about is the job opportunities they have, or especially like the right to work. So Afghan women are not allowed to work. They since the Taliban arrived in 2021, they were banned from all the jobs. If they had a degree, it didn't matter. They could not work as doctors or professors, and this is really concerning because half of the productive population in Afghanistan stopped being productive, and it made the country lose a lot of money, which brought it to an economical situation that is making families being in poverty. And the women that are allowed to work, they get a significant less amount of money than the men's salary. So all the families that had two incomes from the woman and the man that used to work had been affected by these restrictions. So now the families are going through a lot of poverty. So I will read a statistic from the ONU 2025 that says the number of families living in poverty has almost doubled in 2 years. More than two-thirds of the Afghan population needs human assistance to survive. 20 million people are suffering from acute hunger, most of them women and girls, and the price of the basic food basket has increased. So all of these issues have come because women are not allowed to have a proper job, but they are allowed to work at home, even though they do not get a salary, a good income. So in conclusion, feminism is still something we need. There's a lot of people that say that feminism is not needed anymore because women have the same right as a man, but that's in some countries. We can see from the slides that in a lot of countries that's not true, and that feminism is still needed. And that was the main point of my presentation, to prove that feminism is something that we still need nowadays in 2025. I wish we didn't need it, but it's something that it's needed in countries like Afghanistan, and it's a fight that women need to raise their voices and fight for their rights because women's rights are human rights. And here's a list of all the topics I talked today with facts that I talked today too. And thank you so much for watching my presentation. My apologies if my English wasn't the best or wasn't as fluent as I wish I wanted to, but I put a lot of effort on the slides. So if you don't understand something, you can go back and read a little bit of what I put.